Hi friends, welcome to day 9 of the 25 push-ups for 25 days challenge to bring awareness to mental health. It is really exhausting trying to do one of these videos every day. It's 90 degrees in LA, guys. Woo! But I feel really good today because I went woo! And then Winston barked back at me. Anyways, so I lost track of my thought process for a second right there. Anyways, I feel really good today because I nearly had 8 hours of sleep last night, and it's been so long. I usually get a lot less, maybe 4 or 5 every day. So today's topic is going to be the science of sleep. And after that, I'll go into the 25 push-ups, and then I will finally reveal my secret weapon. And I have no idea why I get into the Batman voice. It's just fun talking like Batman. I mean, like, hey, Batman, do you think I'll have abs at the end of this? No. If you eat candy canes, you will not have abs. Do you know what Batman eats? Batman eats fruit. So what you're saying is you're a fruit bat? That's not nice. I'm not a fruit bat. I am Batman. Yeah, and the dogs are barking because they don't like Batman voice. So let's get into the science of sleep and take a look at some stats real quick. Boom, there's 8 hours of sleep. Can I click on that thing? Yep, so previously, I've had really bad sleep in the last few days until today. Boom! Nearly 8 hours. Oh, focus. Go inside and see stuff. Ooh, what's this? Yes, I went to sleep around 9 and then I had a bunch of problems and I finally got some sleep. Yeah, after a whole week of barely any sleep, it just finally caught up with me and I just had to knock out. I tried really hard to get to sleep at 9, but I was so tired and I tried to sleep, but I kept thinking, man, I need to brush my teeth. I kept thinking about brushing my teeth and I couldn't sleep and I just wanted to knock out, but I kept thinking, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. So I had to resort to some secret tricks that I have. I grabbed a sleeping mask, some earplugs, and then I left my cell phone in the bathroom, which I think is a trick that not a lot of people think about. I feel like your phone is super distracting, especially when it's near your bedside table. I'm always checking it, looking at Bitcoin prices all the time. If I just keep that away from me outside in a whole different room, it'll just prevent me from, like, when you're kind of about to wake up and then you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna check my phone. But when your phone's just so far away in a whole nother room, you don't have the desire to get up when you're not ready to be up. So you get a bit more sleep. So here's a little sneak peek of an ebook I haven't released yet. But I did do a bunch of research on sleep. To get the most out of your day, 8 hours must be dedicated to sleeping. While you're asleep, your physical body repairs itself with secreting growth hormones and refreshing your mental willpower as cerebral spinal fluid flushes out waste in your brain. Studies show that losing just 1 night of sleep leads to an increase of plaque in the brain, which is linked to Alzheimer's disease, and other research examines how sleep debt leads to weight gain, brain damage, and car accidents. And just like yesterday's research paper on fruits, all these statements are referenced in my notes page. Let's click on something here. Yeah, here are all the notes and resources I used to write this ebook that I'll give away for free. Yeah, my free ebook and the goal achievement game I invented called the FLOFIX Planner will probably be out by the end of this 25-day challenge. All right, anyways, back to the science of sleep. My first reference article comes from Wikipedia, Physiology. During slow wave sleep, humans secrete bursts of growth hormone. Growth hormone, or whatever that says, also known as human growth hormones in its human form, is a peptide hormone that stimulates growth, cell reproduction, and cell regeneration in humans and other animals. So if you've been working out and you're eating protein, but you can't figure out why you're not getting enough muscle mass, it's probably because you're not getting sleep and letting that growth hormone do its work, building muscle mass. Brains sweep themselves clean of toxins during sleep. During sleep, the flow of cerebrospinal fluid in the brain increases dramatically, washing away harmful waste proteins that build up between brain cells during waking hours, a study of mice found. It's like a dishwasher, says Dr. Maiken Nedergaard. Dr. Maiken Nedergaard. So if you're not getting 8 hours of sleep at night, like me in the last few days, you're just going to keep building up toxins in your brain, which is kind of gross if you think about it. I mean, it's like, what if you haven't taken a dump in the last few days? All that stuff is just going to be in your body and it's not flushed out with the cerebrospinal fluid. This research paper comes to the conclusion that losing just one night of sleep led to an immediate increase in beta amyloid, a protein in the brain associated with Alzheimer's disease, according to a small new study by researchers at the National Institutes of Health. And finally, Penn medicine researchers show how lost sleep leads to lost neurons. Penn medicine study shows disturbing evidence that chronic sleep loss may be more serious than previously thought and may even lead to irreversible physical damage to and loss of brain cells. Oh my God, guys. So I haven't been sleeping in the last few days, and I noticed in yesterday's video, I couldn't even read decimal points. It was just so hard to read these research papers and grasp decimal points. And for those of you watching this who know me, I'm always posting stuff about Bitcoin because I trade Bitcoin on the side. And when you're trading Bitcoin, you're dealing with decimal points. You're dealing with satoshis. So maybe I have been losing brain cells in the last few days. I just couldn't remember things yesterday. That's crazy. Man, I'm glad I got those 8 hours of sleep last night. Perelman School of Medicine and collaborators from Peking University have determined that extended wakefulness is linked to injury to and loss of neurons that are essential for alertness and optimal cognition. Research in humans have shown that attention span and several aspects of cognition may not normalize even with 3 days of recovery sleep, raising the question of lasting injury in the brain. LC neurons in the mice began to display reduced SIR-T3 increased cell death, and the mice lost 25% of these neurons. Wow. So this scientist has done research on sleep with mice, but not yet on humans. And so it remains to be seen how dramatic the effects of lack of sleep are in humans. In mice, you lose 25% of certain neurons. That's a big chunk of your brain. Whoa. Okay, friends, now it's time to do 25 push-ups. And it's 90 degrees out there. Yeah, I'm doing it for the cause. Okay, friends, I just had this brilliant idea of how to mix things up with doing push-ups today. I'm gonna go out there in the 90-degree heat, and I'm just going to pretend to be Batman. Oh, action. I'm Batman. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Guys, it's 90 degrees out here. I had to motivate myself by pretending to be Batman. Hey friends, it's a bit later in the day, not as hot, 80-something degrees. Now it's time to go over my secret weapon that I've used to quickly heal a sprained foot or ankle over the years. In yesterday's video, my cousin Anthony wrote, "Awesome job, brother. Very well executed. I think that your secret weapon has been within you the whole time. The cool tortoise triggered your secret weapon." I love the positive thinking there, man. So, when you sprain your foot or ankle, there's something called RICE, R-I-C-E. Rest, ice, compression, elevation. And then after a few days of that, then you could start doing the ABCs with your foot. A, B, C. Then as you build more strength, you can start adding like maybe a resistance band. A. B is for Batman. C is for Catwoman. After the resistance bands, then they start bringing in yoga, where you're balancing in awkward, difficult positions, building your strength, right? And then finally, I unleash my secret weapon. Bam! It's a rowing machine. Alright, so I messed up recording my intro to this secret weapon earlier. So when you're normally working out, you're vertical, right? So when you're vertical, you're dealing with gravity when you're lifting weight. Basically like, here's this 25-pound dumbbell. So the earth has the most mass surrounding you, and versus this dumbbell. So when you lift up this dumbbell, what the earth is doing is pulling that smaller mass down, and you're in between it. In between the earth and the dumbbell is you and gravity. Hey, this is Batman again, and I fought lots of villains. Do you know what the weakest one is? The weakest force in the universe is gravity. Cool. All right, so when you're on a rowing machine, instead of being vertical, you're horizontal. And you're using the force of air as resistance. This is great because you can really control the amount of force that's being applied with your ankle or foot. I don't exactly know what it is, but ever since I've been using this row machine, I've been able to heal my ankle or foot pretty quickly after a sprain. So just as a heads up, I'm not an expert, I'm an enthusiast. So I could not find any scientific research out there explaining how a row machine can help you fix a sprained foot or ankle. That's why it's my secret weapon. So this is just my personal opinion. It's not medical or scientific advice. It's actually, if you hurt yourself doing this, you can blame Batman. It's his fault. My ankle isn't too bad. Oh, that. With this foot, it's more like, I don't have as much mobility in this ankle or foot right now. I'm gonna do a 30-minute row and see how many calories I burn. I just ate a big ass dinner too, so I might puke at the end of this.